Close your eyes for just a second and imagine this. You arrive in Louisiana, and as you step into New Orleans, something changes. The air is thicker, warmer, almost charged with an invisible current. It's not just another American city, it's a world of its own. From the very first breath, you feel it. This is not a destination. This is an experience. This is New Orleans. The city greets you with 1,000 details at once. The humid breeze carries the scent of jasmine and magnolia, mixing with the smoky aroma of barbecue and the sweetness of powdered sugar rising from a cafe serving fresh beignets. Somewhere in the distance, a trumpet begins to play, and before you even see the musician, you already know you've stepped into the birthplace of jazz. The music isn't background here. It's the lifeblood of the streets. It follows you, it surrounds you, and it feels like it's speaking directly to your soul. Look around, and every sense is overwhelmed. On one corner, you see iron balconies decorated with hanging plants, their shadows dancing on pastel-colored walls that have seen centuries of history. On another, a street artist paints vibrant scenes of parades and brass bands, capturing the spirit of a city that refuses to sit still. Carriages roll slowly over cobblestones, blending the past with the present, and the voices of street performers rise like echoes of 1,000 untold stories. And that's the magic of New Orleans. It's alive in a way few places are. The city doesn't just welcome you, it pulls you in, as if whispering, "Stay, listen, taste, and feel." You realize quickly that here, life is not something you pass through. It's something you participate in. Conversations spill out from porches. Strangers greet you with warmth, and everywhere you turn, you find yourself surrounded by people who live as if celebration is not an event, but a way of breathing. But beneath the beauty lies something deeper: resilience. This is a city that has known hardship, that has faced hurricanes, floods, and fires. Yet it refuses to surrender. Instead, it rises every time, stronger and more determined to preserve its soul. Walk its streets, and you don't just see history. You see survival, pride, and the unbreakable belief that joy is essential to living. That's why parades return after storms, festivals roar louder after silence, and music always, always finds its way back. Here, the past and present collide in the most fascinating ways. You'll hear French phrases woven into everyday English. You'll see Caribbean rhythms fused with Southern hospitality, and you'll taste flavors that are centuries in the making. It's as if every culture that ever touched this land left a piece of itself, and together they became something extraordinary. As the sun sets on your first day, the streets glow with a golden light, lanterns flicker to life, and the heartbeat of the city grows louder. New Orleans does not simply tell you its story, it makes you part of it. And once you've felt that, you'll understand why people never truly leave. Even if they go, a part of them always stays behind. The streets begin to guide you, almost like they know where you should go. Soon, your footsteps carry you into the French Quarter, the beating heart of New Orleans. This isn't just a neighborhood, it's a time capsule. Narrow streets unfold like a labyrinth, lined with colorful buildings that seem to lean in toward you, their wrought iron balconies dripping with ferns, flags, and Mardi Gras beads left behind from celebrations that never really end. Royal Street is the perfect starting point. Here, the rhythm is slower, more graceful. Sunlight spills through the arches of old Spanish courtyards, while art galleries open their doors, displaying paintings that reflect both the chaos and the beauty of this city. Antique shops invite you inside with treasures that whisper of another century. A grandfather clock, a crystal chandelier, a weathered mirror that has seen 100 reflections before yours. The sound here isn't the roar of a crowd, but the delicate notes of a violin, a clarinet, or sometimes a single voice carrying an old jazz standard. It's refined, intimate, and deeply soulful. But keep walking, and the energy shifts. Bourbon Street explodes into your senses like fireworks. The lights are neon, bright and bold, spilling out of every doorway. Music crashes together from bar to bar, a mix of rock, blues, brass bands, and DJs, creating a soundtrack that is wild, chaotic, and completely irresistible. The sidewalks are alive with people, strangers laughing together, dancers spinning in the middle of the crowd, and performers who turn the street into their stage. Here, life has no script. Anything can happen. And that's the essence of Bourbon Street. Freedom. Freedom to be loud, to be bold, to be yourself without apology. But if you step away from the noise, even just a few blocks, another side of New Orleans reveals itself. Jackson Square unfolds like a living postcard, framed by the towering spires of St. Louis Cathedral, one of the most iconic landmarks of the city. This square is a gathering place, alive with artists sketching portraits, fortune tellers whispering secrets over tarot cards, and musicians filling the air with soulful ballads. Sit on a bench here, and you'll notice how time slows down. The chaos fades, replaced by the timeless charm of a city that has always balanced celebration with reflection. And then, just beyond the square, you meet the Mississippi. Wide, calm, and endless, the river is more than water flowing to the sea. It is the reason this city exists. For centuries, goods, people, and stories arrived here by boat, shaping New Orleans into the cultural mosaic it is today. Watch the steamboats glide across the surface, their paddle wheels churning the current, and you're watching history in motion. You can almost see the merchants unloading cotton and spices, hear the chatter of sailors, and imagine the city's growth fueled by this mighty river. Stand there at the river's edge, and the world feels both vast and intimate. The sun dips lower, painting the water in streaks of orange, purple, and gold. A cool breeze rises, carrying with it the faint sound of a trumpet echoing across the levee. In that moment, you understand something profound. New Orleans doesn't just entertain you, it transforms you. The French Quarter, Bourbon Street, Jackson Square, and the Mississippi are not separate chapters. They are threads woven into one tapestry, each one reminding you that this city is a living story, and you are now part of it. If there is one language that everyone understands in New Orleans, it's music. Here, sound is not just entertainment, it's identity, it's memory, it's survival. You can't walk far without hearing it. A trumpet solo from a balcony at midnight, a brass band parading through the streets on a Sunday afternoon, a single saxophone playing to no one and to everyone at the same time. Music here doesn't wait for you to find it, it finds you. This is the birthplace of jazz, but jazz in New Orleans is not locked in history. It's alive, breathing, constantly reinventing itself. The rhythms echo the African drums of the past, the hymns of gospel choirs, the blues of the Mississippi Delta, and the European harmonies carried by immigrants centuries ago. Out of this blend came something the world had never heard before. A music of freedom, a music of improvisation, a music that doesn't just play notes, but tells stories. Step into a small club on Bourbon Street and you'll understand. The room is dimly lit, the tables crowded, and the stage so close you can see every breath the musicians take. A trumpet blasts, the drummer picks up the tempo, and suddenly the room is alive. People clap, dance, cheer, and the musicians respond with even more fire. There is no barrier between performer and audience. It's one shared heartbeat. And when the night stretches on, you don't want it to end, because you're no longer just a listener. You're part of the song. But music in New Orleans is not confined to stages or clubs. It lives in the streets. Picture a brass band marching down Trem, the neighborhood that gave birth to so many legendary rhythms. Young kids carrying tubas larger than themselves, elders playing drums they've been pounding for decades, and the whole community following along, singing, laughing, moving together. These parades are not shows. They are celebrations of life itself, of community, of the simple joy of being alive. Even in moments of tragedy, music rises. After storms, after hardship, after loss, the people of New Orleans turn to song. They lift their voices, they lift their horns, and they remind the world and themselves that nothing can silence this spirit. That resilience, that determination to find light even in darkness, is what makes New Orleans unlike anywhere else on earth. And maybe that's why, once you've heard it here, you carry it with you forever. Because this isn't just about listening to jazz or blues or gospel. It's about feeling the heartbeat of a city that refuses to fade. Every note, every beat, every chorus tells you life is worth celebrating. And if this moment is moving you, if you can almost hear the trumpet and feel the drums as we speak, then stay with us. Subscribe. Keep following this journey, because New Orleans is only the beginning. There are so many more places, so many more stories waiting to be told, and you don't want to miss them. Then its traditions are the soul. And nowhere is that soul more visible, more explosive, and more unforgettable than during Mardi Gras. Imagine an entire city transformed into a festival. Streets glowing with purple, green, and gold, the official colors of Mardi Gras, each one carrying its own meaning: justice, faith, and power. Floats roll down St. Charles Avenue, massive works of art on wheels, each one crafted with dazzling creativity. People on balconies throw beads and trinkets into the crowd. Laughter fills the air, and everywhere you turn, there's rhythm. Brass bands marching, drums pounding, voices singing in unison. But Mardi Gras is not just a party. It is a tradition with roots deep in history. Brought to Louisiana by French settlers in the 18th century, it has grown into a celebration of identity, community, and resilience. For locals, it's not a show for tourists. It's sacred. It's the city expressing itself, generation after generation, through parades, costumes, and rituals. Families prepare for it months in advance, crafting masks and gowns, passing down secrets of design and performance. Each crew, the organizations that host the parades, tells its own story through elaborate floats and satirical performances, blending humor, art, and history in ways no other festival can replicate. And then there's the energy of the crowd. Strangers become friends in seconds, united by music and color. Children sit on their parents' shoulders, reaching for beads thrown from above. Elderly neighbors share king cake, a sweet pastry filled with tradition, and whoever finds the hidden baby figurine inside becomes king or queen for the day. Here, joy is not optional. It's contagious. But New Orleans traditions go far beyond Mardi Gras. There's a spiritual undercurrent that has always been part of the city's DNA, the mystique of voodoo. Often misunderstood, voodoo in New Orleans is not dark magic from horror films. It is a belief system, a blend of African spirituality, Catholic rituals, and indigenous traditions, brought here by enslaved people centuries ago. It's about honoring ancestors, connecting with spirits, and finding healing in faith. Walk into a voodoo shop, and you'll find candles flickering beside altars, statues of saints standing next to African deities, and shelves lined with charms, herbs, and talismans. The scent of incense fills the air, and you realize this is not superstition. It's culture, a powerful reminder of survival and adaptation. Figures like Marie Laveau, the legendary voodoo queen of the 19th century, embody the way faith and power intertwine here. Her presence still lingers in the city, her tomb visited daily by people leaving offerings and seeking blessings. Tradition in New Orleans is layered. It's the jazz funeral, where sorrow and joy collide. Picture it. A procession begins slowly, mournful brass playing a hymn as the community says goodbye. But then, as the burial ends, the music transforms. The tempo rises, the trumpets soar, and the crowd begins to dance. It's not disrespect. It's a declaration that life must be celebrated, even in the face of death. It is grief and joy woven together, showing that for New Orleans, endings are never just endings. They're transitions, they're transformations. This is what makes New Orleans unique, the ability to hold contradictions and turn them into beauty. Mardi Gras is chaos and order, celebration and ritual. Voodoo is mystery and faith, fear and comfort. Jazz funerals are mourning and joy. In every tradition, you see the truth of this city. Life is not simple, but it is always worth celebrating. And as you stand in the middle of it all, beads around your neck, music in your ears, the scent of spices and incense in the air, you realize something. New Orleans is not asking you to understand it. It's asking you to feel it, to surrender to the rhythm, to trust the traditions, to let the city teach you that life, no matter how unpredictable, is richer when you embrace both the light and the shadows. One last way New Orleans speaks to you, it's through flavor. Food here is not simply about eating, it's storytelling. It's history you can taste, culture you can hold in your hands, and memory you'll carry long after the plate is empty. Step into a local cafe and the air greets you with the warm, sweet smell of powdered sugar falling over golden beignets, soft and airy, paired with a steaming cup of chicory coffee. That first bite tells you everything. The French influence, the creativity of the people, and the way New Orleans knows how to turn even the simplest moment into pure delight. Move into a family-owned diner, and you'll find yourself staring at a bowl of gumbo, thick, rich, and layered with flavors built over hours of patience. It's a dish born of survival, created from whatever ingredients were available, blending African spices, Native American roots, and French techniques. Gumbo is not just food. It is the very essence of New Orleans in a bowl, diverse, resilient, and unforgettable. And then there's jambalaya, a dish that explodes with rice, sausage, shrimp, and spice, carrying the echoes of Spanish paella and Caribbean rhythm. Or the po' boy, a humble sandwich that is fed generations, stuffed with fried shrimp or roast beef, each bite reminding you that comfort and pride can come wrapped in simple bread. Seafood is everywhere. Fresh oysters pulled straight from the Gulf, charbroiled until they sizzle and shine. Crawfish boils that bring entire communities together. Families and friends laughing as they peel and share around long tables. Red beans and rice on a Monday, a tradition that started as a practical meal on laundry day and grew into a weekly ritual that families still honor. In New Orleans, food is never just food. It's a gathering, a reason to pause, a way of saying, you belong here. But beyond the flavors, what truly defines New Orleans is its people. This is a city that has faced storms, both literal and figurative, and yet every time, it rises again. Hurricane Katrina tested the very soul of this place, but what followed was a rebirth, a testament to resilience. Homes rebuilt, communities united, music returned to the streets, and festivals grew louder than ever. New Orleans doesn't hide its scars. It wears them proudly, as proof that joy is not the absence of struggle, but the decision to dance, even when the storm has passed. Talk to the locals, and you'll feel their pride. They'll tell you stories of parades, of childhood spent catching beads, of recipes passed down from grandparents, of nights where the music carried them through hard times. They'll invite you in, because in New Orleans, hospitality is not a service, it's a way of life. No matter where you're from, once you step into this city, you're family. And that's the truth. New Orleans is not a place you simply visit. It's a place that visits you. It leaves its fingerprints on your memory, its rhythms in your heart, and its flavors on your tongue. Even years later, you'll find yourself humming a melody you heard in a dim jazz club, craving the spice of jambalaya, or remembering the warmth of a stranger who made you feel at home. So as we close this journey through New Orleans, let's pause for a moment. Think about what you've seen, what you've felt. A city that is music, celebration, mystery, tradition, flavor, and resilience all at once. A city that never apologizes for being bold, loud, joyful, and real. And if you've felt even a spark of what New Orleans is, then stay with us, because this is only one chapter of the journeys we'll take together. There are countless cities, countless roads, countless cultures waiting to be explored. Subscribe, follow along, and let's keep traveling, keep discovering, keep celebrating life one story at a time. New Orleans has shown us that the world is not something to pass through. It's something to feel deeply. And the best way to keep feeling it is to stay with us, to keep moving forward, to keep riding along on this road that never ends. Because this is Rodando Tour, and the journey has only just begun.